Here we go. This is the very same dealership where I bought this Black Beauty from. So really good. And there they are. They're all parked there. 2 triple blacks. Let's do this. Here we are. Looks like there are 2 1300s here. And John is right there. So let's go have a look. And here's the man, John.
Hello. I should pick your bucket. Yeah, beautiful. Okay.
So what, are you leaving now?
No, I'm going to get you on.
Hello guys, and just like that, I'm here at Doncaster BMW Motorrad, and I have the R1300 triple black here with me. So John and Ross from BMW Motorrad Doncaster have been kind enough to loan me the bike for 2 nights, today, tomorrow, and I will have to return it first thing Monday morning. And that I'm really grateful for the opportunity to actually have some fun with this bike. And the first impression so far is when I compare this, the 1300 with the 1250, keeping in mind that the 1250 that I've got here is the adventure version, which means it's a bit more bigger. But like in like, if you're comparing them, this is much more slender. It looks tiny as opposed to when you compare it with the 1250. And it's very slender. This particular version that we've got here has got the adaptive ride height. It's also got the automated windscreens, which is great. So that are the 2 techie stuff that I know so far about it. I'm yet to find out what else there is, what else this thing has got to offer. But so far, I had a quick run through with John, and this is what I've gathered so far. And all in all, the triple black looks stunning, slender, much more lower, and I think it'll handle quite nimble as well. So if you are up for it, join me for the adventure over the next 2 days. Alright, so I am well seated on the bike. Look at that, look at how good she looks. Now, first impressions so far on the bike is that it's very different from my GSA. I know it's not a direct comparison, but this bike feels really nimble, and look how low my feet is, and that's because it's got the adaptive ride height that I've turned down. So what that does is, when the bike comes to a halt, it lowers down the suspension, and as you ride, it increases it up. Now, what I've also got here at the moment is I've got the sports screen on, and what that shows you, it shows you the direct traction control, your brake. It gives you a lean angle, which is right there in the center, and it gives you your speedos at the top and your good RPM meter there. The engine by itself, you can actually feel, this is just my first impressions, right? I'm only doing this as my first impressions now. The full review is going to come out in the next couple of days, but essentially first impressions is that you can feel the power. Definitely that extra horsepower that this the 1300 has got from the 1250 does make a difference. For example, I'm on 3rd gear now, and that's how much torque it's got. You can really feel the torque, and you can also feel the extra horsepower. Now, is that a game changer? That's a tough one to answer, isn't it? But having ridden the 1250, now look, with the 1250, remembering the GS Adventure that I've got is much more bigger than this guy, so obviously you're not going to feel that sudden push as you would with the 1300 or a regular GS, for let's say, simply because it's lighter. But I have also ridden a GS in the past as well, a GS 1250, and I can say yes, there is quite a bit of a difference in the feel in terms of the power and the performance. Now the right ergonomics, it does feel like you are a bit more to the front by the looks of it, and I feel my legs are a bit more folded in, whereas on the GSA I'm sitting a bit more upright. My legs are not as folded in as this, so this is a bit more in a sports type of setup really. The engine, just from what I can hear now while I'm riding, is that the engine feels, I don't know, I feel like it's a bit louder. There is a different roar to the engine. It is a bit, you can actually hear, you can hear it, and it's like you can hear a really strong thumping sound on the engine, and that's probably because it's got a bigger bore, I assume. The exhaust is significantly smaller than what you have on the 1250s, and it, in my opinion, I think the exhaust on the 1250s, the exhaust note on the 1250 sounds better than what we have got here on the 1300. Now I've got this automated windscreen, which this is I suppose if you never had one of these, it probably really doesn't matter, but now that it's there, it's something quite nice to have, especially if you're doing off-roading and you're riding you know, in different sort of terrains and stuff, and you want the windscreen to go up and down. With the GS, you have to wind it down. With this one here, you just use this button. But keeping in mind though, not all 1300s come with that as standard. That's actually an additional thing that you have to sort of add on. But with the triple black, I think it comes in as a standard edition for the triple black variants. Now the windshield by itself, I think it's a bit small. In terms of deflecting wind, it seems to be doing a good job. This bits here has been helping to block some of the direct wind. I'm not actually getting any buffeting. I don't get any buffeting on my 1250 Adventure as well, so that part seems to be alright. I do feel, however, that the windscreen could go a tad higher. I think that would make a bit more difference. So at the moment, the wind is just touching at the top of my helmet, right about here. I think it would be nice if it just went slightly above. But again, that's also depending on the rider and how high how tall the rider is as well. As I mentioned earlier, the start button now has moved to here. It is again a bit more different, but having said that, that actually creates room for mounting, so now you can sort of mount things in the center. Alright, what else? It's got the adaptive cruise control as well. Now for that is actually under the menu. We have to go to settings maybe, and it comes under the assist. And in the assist here, you can look at the suspension, you can look at cruise control, and here it's got the adaptive cruise control turned on, and the characteristics is dynamic, and there are a few other options. I'm really not sure what the difference are. You sort of have to try it out really. Front collision warning is the other thing that I'm going to sort of turn on now, and I think I would go medium for the collision warning. And what it does is it also turns on warning plus braking assistance is also turned on. So let's see how that is. Pretty much that's the assist functions. The suspension as well, there are a few options on the suspension where you can actually manually control the damping configurations by the look of it. So at the moment it's all set at factory standard, so depending on which mode you're riding on, you can control it. So for example, now I'm on the dynamic mode, and there seems it's at 0 at the moment, and you can sort of increase the damping. So that would, I suppose you've got to really ride it a bit more to really understand how it makes a difference. But at this stage, I'm just going to leave it as standard. So that's again something new that the GS doesn't have. So the suspension settings, on the GS you can sort of control it if you're in the Pro mode, but not in the standard mode. So this one here, you're in a dynamic mode and you can sort of control them, which is quite cool. And obviously with the cruise control and adaptive cruise control and the front collision warning, that's something new, exclusive to the 1300s. And the cylinders seem to be a bit higher from the GSA and the GS. I think that's to do with the redesign of how they put the gearbox underneath the engine and sort of lifted the cylinder head slightly up. Now when you rev the engine, it tends to move to the right a little bit. Well, on the GS and the GSA, it goes on the left. So I'm not sure if that's to do with the design, but that's another notable difference that I've found. They stick like glue, Graham, the tires? Yeah. So now, going back to what I've just told you, all these things are really nice, they're really excellent. But if you have owned the 1250 GS, or if you have owned the 1250 GS Adventure, I'm not entirely sure that these changes are huge, or if it's a game changer in that sense. They are nice to have things, they are quite refined, they are quite beautifully done, but I'm not entirely sure if it's totally worth that extra bit of money. Now, if you're riding a 1200 and you're moving from a 1200 to 1300, yes, absolutely, go for it. But I think the 1250 still has got still got itself in the game here. It's still quite remarkable on how it performs. 1250. This is just a tad little bit more refined. I like the way it handles as compared to the GS Adventure that I've got, because that's a much more bigger bike. This on the other hand is nimble, very easy to handle. I can flat foot it, and if you're going to take it off-road, it'll be fairly easy to do that as well. So now let's try the adaptive cruise control and see how this works. Alright, so I've got the adaptive cruise control on, and you can see it's detecting the car in front of me, and it's really well balanced, the bike, at 86 kilometers an hour. It's so well balanced. Bring it up to 100. There you can see Graham is in my blind spot. I can't see him on the mirror, he's in my blind spot, and that's lighting up. That's really good too. Something nice to have. It's lighting up. I can't see him on my mirror. He's there, but it's lighting up.
Yours is, your bike is doing 100, this one is 102.
So there's a difference. So apparently my bike is doing 102, the GS Adventure, and this is doing 100.
And yours is on... Mine's revving at 3,500.
Same, 3,500 as well. So it's revving the same. The 1250 and the 1300 at the same speed is revving about 3,500, which is the same. Yeah, I'm in 6th gear. What gear are you in? 6th gear as well.
6th gear, yeah. So that's interesting. So it's revving the same for 100, 100k.
pulls a bit, or even on 6 gear it pulls. Right or left? Swap of the bike just before I end the video for today. I've given, yep, the steering will go up automatically. I've given Graham the 1300 for a quick spin, and I'm on my GSA. It looks really small, doesn't it, the bike? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So guys, we had a ball riding the 1300 today, and Graham actually had a ride on it as well. So Graham, tell us, what did you think on your first impressions on the 1300?
Yeah, it was really interesting riding them back to back, and quite stark the differences in a way. Yeah, I'll probably start with the negatives. There aren't that many, but yeah, still retains the clunky BMW gearbox. Still quite clunky, and the sound of the engine is really quite different to the 1250.
Yep.
It's definitely louder.
Yep.
Maybe it's to do with the smaller silencer, which is quite a bit smaller than the 1250 can. But generally, good points. Yeah, just really noticeable engine power. Brakes are fantastic, absolutely excellent braking, and the ABS system is really good. And yeah, just acceleration and braking, and we took them on these twisties here, and really noticed the handling as well. So
Yeah.
the chassis seems tauter.
Yeah.
More feedback from the tyres on the road. So actually, I'm coming round to it. I'm coming round to it. I think, yeah. The only other thing, a bit of a criticism, is the height. For me, I'm 1.8, 1 meter 8. So
Not really
quite a
comfortable.
bend in the knee.
Yeah.
I think I prefer the riding position on the 1250.
Yeah. So
but apart from that, yeah, really quite impressed.
So I think me and Graham have got similar points that we have mentioned, right? One thing is definitely the noticeable engine sound. The seating position, I find it much more comfortable on the GSA because my knees aren't as bent. Here it's bent, it sort of comes up a little bit. But besides that, the engine and the performance, it is noticeable. It is definitely noticeable. Do you think it's a big game changer from the 1250 to the 1300, or is it just minor?
Yeah,
just minor, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's just very small refinements that they've put in the engine and the performance of the bike. I don't think it's like crazy changes or anything like that. I don't think it's a huge difference, but there's definitely these subtle minor differences that they've put in and refined. So I suppose tomorrow we're going to take it out further and we're going to test it a bit more and really spend a bit more time with it. Today it's just the first ride impression, just basically just getting acquainted to how the bike feels. And tomorrow me and Graham are going to get together again and we're going to take it out for a spin and further understand, and I'll speak to you more about it. So if you guys are interested in joining us for the full review, then stay on for the next video. And until then, thank you. Do like, do share, do subscribe, and we'll see you on the review next week. Cheers. Bye.